Well, we're out here at the Yamaha intro for the WR250R and WR250X. This morning we started out up near Big Bear Lake and did a really fun loop through the desert, on gravel, through trails, through some snow.
I got on this bike and the key word for it was unintimidating. It has enough power that I was never in need of power, going up hills or anything like that, getting through the sand, but it was never scary.
The bike can do tons of stuff I can't do in the trails. And then riding to Grange on some of the little wide open empty desert roads, it actually made pretty good power and went pretty fast.
Yeah, it's a fun bike. I mean, it's not a race bike, so you can't expect to bring that thing out here and do races, although, you know, you could if you wanted to. It actually runs quite well for a 250, and, you know, against its competition, it's right there, even though it is a smaller displacement bike.
Makes good power. I haven't found the rev limiter yet, so you can kind of pin it up into the over rev and it'll still pull. Handling wise, it's pretty nimble, coming into turns and everything. And the big thing, it doesn't have a lot of weight that you're throwing around, so it doesn't really surprise you. You can come in, get a feel for the brakes and the training, and just kind of how the thing's going to react underneath you, and it doesn't do anything silly, which is good.
The bike was really fun on the SuperMoto track. This is a tight track, which is perfect for a really light 250 like this. The tires stuck like glue. The SuperMoto has a much larger, more powerful front brake, and it worked really well here. Motor is it's very strong for a quiet street legal 250, and it felt good on the track.
It's really not a problem to feel like you're, you know, a superhero out there. That's what that bike does well. And I mean, I couldn't stop. I did lap after lap, and eventually I got hip cramps, so I had to come in. But the bike was willing to go, and you know, I'd spend as much time on it as I could.
It was completely predictable. It never slid out of me in a corner. You know, the tires just kept sticking and sticking and sticking. And you know, I saw from some of the other guys, they were like grinding the foot pegs down to nubs, and you know, none of them ever went flying or anything. And that tells you right there. And as hard as some of the people were riding, that the bike is completely controllable. And because it's only a 250, you kind of are more in control of the bike than just hanging on. You know, if you would with a 450 or 650 or 690 or something like that.
Pretty versatile. I was impressed with the off-road for sure, because even though the bike's down on torque, it's a real free spinning engine, so you compensate by, you know, using RPM. I had a lot of fun. If you take a look at my boot and my toe, you'll see that I had so much fun I drug through my boot and well into my toes. I'm afraid to take my boots off actually.
Yeah, these bikes have some pretty cool features. I mean, they're super quiet, and then the power's smooth. They rev out a lot farther than you'd think. They've got good power.
It was smooth enough, tall enough, the gearing was tall enough. I would never recommend to anyone getting on a 250cc bike and going on a long mileage enduro trip. This is one bike where you could comfortably get on it and it's not going to beat the hell out of you.
It's a great bike, and I think that whether you choose the R or the X version depends on whether you live near some good trails or whether you live near a go-kart track. But in either case, you've got a really functional little vehicle that you can also have some real fun on.